A woodworker, not
Play better? No.
Herzlich willkommen, meine Damen und Herren, zu unserem heutigen Totengedenkfeier. I'd like to welcome everybody to our annual memorial service, our 31st. At this point, I would like to invite Luisa Martini to the front. She's going to sing our Volkshymne der Donauschwaben.
Seid gegrüßt, ihr deutsche Brüder, wachet auf, es ruft die Zeit. Lasst uns rühmen, lasst uns preisen, unseres Volkes Einigkeit. Wir sind eines Volkes Söhne, deutsche Sprache, deutsche Art, die die Werte hochgehalten, haben treu wir uns bewahrt. Wir sind eines Volkes Söhne, deutsche Sprache, deutsche Art, die die Werte hochgehalten, haben treu wir uns bewahrt.
So at this point I would like to invite Krista Pullian to the microphone, and she has a few words for the occasion.
Die Heimat. In the German culture, this term is usually attached to fond memories of a family's hometown. For over 200 years, since the Habsburg establishment of the Donauschwaben settlements in Yugoslavia, the German people peacefully coexisted with their Slavic neighbors. While the main battles of World War II took place in other parts of the European continent, other people endured suffering that was generally overlooked. Few people know of the events that changed the lives of hundreds of thousands of Donauschwaben, as well as their perspectives and memories of this beloved Heimat. As the granddaughter and grandniece of Neusatz and Jahrek concentration camp survivors, I will never fully understand the pain and suffering that several survivors here with us today endured. I have never had to live in fear of murder, torture, or starvation as a child. I never had to live under Tito's cruel regime and cannot even imagine putting myself in your shoes. My perspectives are from the outside looking in. While war times are never pleasant, the genocide of the Donauschwaben was a wartime event that did not need to happen. As World War II came to an end, the Russian troops entered Yugoslavia and the Serbian partisans quickly installed their military government. This was not news for our German population, who had lived in peace and harmony with their neighbors for over 200 years. Many did not foresee the atrocities that were to come and found it difficult to leave their beloved Heimat. The Donauschwaben who stayed home soon learned that life would not be easy under Tito's partisans. Effective almost immediately after the transition of power took place, Germans were no longer considered to be citizens, and anything that happened to them was outside the law. Everything belonged to the state, including their lives and bodies. A classic example of communism, the partisans took it to the extreme. Many Donauschwaben living without rights and possessions were, in effect, reduced to slavery. The next 3 years proved to be difficult for our Donauschwaben. From hard labor in the camps and little food or water, to orphan children and rampant disease, nothing was easy. In some cases, like my grandfather's, the contraction of typhoid fever proved to be life-saving, as he was too ill to go to Siberia to work. Who knows what his fate would have been? I have read many first-hand experiences published in books and have listened to the countless stories from family who survived the camps. The detailed descriptions of the inhumane treatment by the guards on our people were appalling. The Donauschwaben fate might have been worse had locals not stepped in to help. Luckily, many of the Slavic folk assisted their surviving Donauschwaben in escaping the brutal camps. After several years of living in constant fear, they had taken risks to escape in order to start their new lives in other countries. While it is comforting to know that we were aided by many caring people, it is difficult to forget how many of our family members were still unaccounted for. Today, the main issue behind the liquidation was racism. Had this happened in the world today, we would hope and expect that other countries would have come to the aid of our people. I often wonder how different the world would be had 32% or 175,000 Donauschwaben not lost their lives as victims of mass shootings, starvation, disease, and work camps. Imagine if the young victims had survived and raised their own families in the world today. Imagine how many more good Donauschwaben families were living among us. It is tragic that this population was persecuted and lives and families were destroyed for no reason other than barbaric desires. I feel fortunate that my immediate family survived and fled to Austria. It is sad to think that not everyone in the family shared the same fate, and several never returned to their hometown of Palanka. I am sure this is true for every family here today. After all the families had to live through, I would be wrong not to educate myself on the plight of our Donauschwaben. I still listen to many stories shared at Sunday dinner tables about how things were and about how lucky we are that we're all together as families today. Family. This is something that the partisans took from many of our parents and grandparents. It reminds me of how important family is. How many of the people living peacefully in Yugoslavia would have loved to see their parents or siblings or children one last time. Never being able to say goodbye, never giving one last hug, I couldn't imagine this. In closing, I am thankful that we keep our traditions strong and stick together as a club. While many people worldwide may not be familiar with the stories of our people, it is good to know that the connections we and Donauschwaben worldwide have to the club are still strong. The annual Landestreffen demonstrates that the surviving people who have immigrated to America and Canada are still proud of their Donauschwaben roots. The atrocity in the mid-1940s has not affected their pride and has not caused a loss of identity, one that started in the Heimat and grew throughout Europe, North America, and South America. This subject is very important to me, and I feel that it is essential to keep memory alive. I hope we can continue to remember those who are not with us today and never forget the atrocities that they had to endure. They are no longer able to have a voice, so it is up to us, the children and grandchildren, to keep their stories alive.
I'm sure everybody is as delighted as I am that the younger generation has taken such an interest, and certainly Krista represents that so very well, having said something very nice. Thank you very much, Krista. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's turn to Wenn ich zum Herzen Jesu gehe. It's on the second page, and we can all sing Wenn ich zum Herzen Jesu gehe. Those who know it, please sing it loud. And by the second verse. Zum Herzen Jesu gehe. Ihm jedes Leid und Weh, dann wird's leicht mir ums Herz, denn es versüßt der Leidenschmerz, wenn alles schon verloren scheint, bei ihm mein Auge traurig weint, dann wird's mit mir bald besser gehen, denn So now, speaking of the youngest generation, I'd like to invite them forward. We're going to do the prayers which are on the back side of the handout.
Im Namen des Vaters und des Sohnes und des Heiligen Geistes. Amen. Vater unser, der du bist im Himmel, geheiligt werde dein Name. Dein Reich komme, dein Wille geschehe, im Himmel wie auf Erden. Unser tägliches Brot gib uns heute und vergib uns unsere Schuld, wie auch wir vergeben unseren Schuldigen. Führe uns nicht in Versuchung, sondern erlöse uns von dem Bösen. Denn dein ist das Reich und die Kraft und die Herrlichkeit in Ewigkeit. Amen. Gegrüßet seist du, Maria, voll der Gnade, der Herr ist mit dir. Du bist gebenedeit unter den Weibern, und gebenedeit ist die Frucht deines Leibes, Jesus. Heilige Maria, Mutter Gottes, bitte für uns Sünden jetzt und in der Stunde unseres Todes. Amen. Ehre sei dem Vater und dem Sohn und dem Heiligen Geist, wie in Anfang, so das ewige Licht leuchte ihnen. Amen.